What is going on, guys? It's your boy Shamus from the Secret Intelligence Squadron. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So, a few of you guys have seen what I look like, and if a lot of you guys haven't, this is what I look like, guys. Uh, I've never actually recorded a webcam video on this channel because I don't really like to, but yeah, we are doing it now. This is gonna be a little podcast. I don't know what I'm gonna name it right now. As you guys can see, I have no branding on here, like this podcast, this that. None of that. So, anyways, we're gonna be talking about a few things. This podcast, the main thing is going to be to do with like hacking groups and stuff like that. I want to talk a bit about that, and throughout this podcast series, I'm gonna be talking about numerous topics. You guys can let me know here, or whatever comes to my mind, I'll start talking about. Obviously, if you comment something I don't want to talk about, I'm probably not gonna talk about it. But it's anyone's game. But yeah, my hair is like something sticking out. It's this fucking piece of shit. Okay, but yeah. So what's the first thing we're gonna talk about? So I want to talk about the kind of hacking groups in a way. Now, first things first, I want to let you guys know if a hacking group or group of people or a person that claims to have a group of people that hack and their name contains any of the following: security team, sec team, or actually, yeah, just those three, they're probably not as spooky as you think they are. Because I've seen a bunch, I've seen so many groups with security or security team or second their name. So it's like well, what's one that I used to know? There was one called Acid Security. Acid Security was an old time thing. Like that was a Discord server back in the day, man. I don't know where the hell they went, but yeah, their name was Acid Security. And if the name has security, if the group name has security in it, I don't know. I tend to just not take them seriously, to be honest, because it's like it's just kind of stupid if you ask me. But they want to do what they want to do, I guess. But yeah, also, I was just told by someone I don't want to mention because I think they don't want me to mention them, but they told me that Lizard Squad actually is no longer a thing, which I didn't know. I don't really keep up with these groups, but groups like Lizard Squad, okay, because they DDoS doesn't make them a hacking group. Hacking is not hacking. DDoSing is very easy to do. I don't think it's considered hacking. Anyone can do it. You're not actually breaking into anything. You're just sending a bunch of traffic to something. That's not hacking at all, guys. Please don't think that's hacking. That's really not. You're just sending a bunch of traffic. And if a hacking group voluntarily decides to go out on media or start flexing stuff, I feel like that's a bit of are you really a hacking group if you're really just trying to flex about stuff you do? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's, something hacking groups do, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. It's like, do serious groups do that? Like, I've personally never been in a hacking group. I don't want to. But, there's also a big issue going on here, guys. Little kids, little skids, okay, that's what I meant to say. Little skids are going around thinking any human being they see on Discord or PlayStation or some shit with Anon in their name are instantly a part of Anonymous. Like, I don't think just because someone has Anon in their name they're a part of Anonymous. And if they are part of Anonymous and they just you think about them and you're like, are you really a part of Anonymous? And it's like, sorry about that, guys. I decided to shut my window because there's a bunch of kids outside screaming. So, yeah. Anyways, just because you have an Anon in your name doesn't make you part of Anonymous. And if you are part of Anonymous and you have Anon in your name and you're going around, flexing, just downright. If you are part of Anonymous, making Anonymous look trash as shit, then you're probably not part of Anonymous. It's really hard to explain, but it's like the main people I see that think they're hackers are people that DDoS, people that make botnets and shit like that. Not even make botnets, they just fucking build botnets that are already there. but a lot of them have a non in their name. A lot of them do, and I feel like why do they think like they're some hackers because they DDoS, and because a few little kids follow them on like just bum lick them the whole fucking way. Like if you guys know what I'm talking about, then you know like little kids will honestly do anything to have friends that know a little bit about a topic, or you know they think are a little bit spooky. Like if you're a kid, not a kid, if you're just if you're a skid, and I think you know if you're a skid, you just wouldn't admit it to anyone. But if you're watching this and you know that, you know, I'm not that knowledgeable, being a skid isn't a bad thing necessarily. People make it seem a bad thing because I guess people call skids. I've only seen skids be called skids if they try and pretend like they know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't be ashamed to call yourself a skid. It's not a bad thing. It just means, you know, you're not as knowledgeable as other people, and if anything, that shouldn't really be, you know, that should never be taken as a bad thing. It should be taken as kind of a good thing. Like you're the next generation, if that makes sense. Like you deserve to, like, you know, learn, etc. Like it's not a bad thing being a skid. So don't pretend to be a hacker if you're not. Don't pretend to, you know, be anything you're not. You know, be yourself and that. Like, but yeah, man. Let's see. What else do you want to talk about though? I wanted to talk about this is hard. Okay, so I never ever talk about this. Like I do, but I don't really talk about this like publicly, I guess. And I don't, not publicly, I just don't want to talk about this on camera, I guess, or like, you know, when I'm posting something on the internet or something. But this is to everyone that uses Mirais, Qbots and whatnot. These are types of botnets, for anyone wondering. They're public botnet sources people can compile and start using. But yeah, if you use a Mirai, Qbot, and you think you're a hacker because you do, you're not. You're really not. And I wouldn't recommend, you know, using things like that, because a lot of people know this, but Mirai and Qbot have a bunch of flaws. The main ones being very, very not secure, I want to say. The main reason being Mirai, in my opinion, is terrible because of a few things. Main one being using SQL. I'm not sure why they decided to use an SQL database instead of, you know, flat file or memory storage. They decided to use MySQL for some god knows what reason. The worst decision they could have possibly made, to be honest. But it's kind of like people still use it on a regular, and I feel like it's kind of stupid still, because, you know, I'm fairly certain Mirai doesn't actually encrypt any of your data. So when you're using Mirai, when they store usernames for the users you have, because I don't like botnets that, you know, have spots, because I feel like if you're using a botnet and you're making it for profit in the sense of selling spots, I feel like that's very it kind of, like, for me means like you're someone that has no life prospect. Like, you're not a hacker, okay? You're just a skid that learn how to. I'm saying skid in a negative way now, okay? You can tell if someone's saying skid in a negative way or not, okay? But you're not a skid. You're a script kiddie. A skid even has the decency to, I feel like, try to learn something. Like, you're a script kiddie who's selling spots on public software, or like basically public software, to earn money. And I feel like that's just very disappointing. Like, people come to that now. Admittedly, you only see skids doing it. Not skids, so you only see script kiddies doing it. Like little kids build botnets scan bots, sell it to people who want DDoS game servers and stuff like that. And they do it for profit, and that's like their whole profit margin, selling spots on a botnet, which I feel like is not the best thing. And especially considering all your data is stored there unencrypted. So let's say the person that's hosting the server decides to look into a database. They see all the usernames, all the passwords. Okay, they can then see, you know, who's using their service. If you use a popular username that you use for other software, they can forward that on to government agencies, etc. Or if someone has a big enough client base, they can actually leak that database or sell it to companies that, you know, buy databases to store information, so that people like WheeLeakInfo and stuff like that. I don't know if WheeLeakInfo, obviously no, I don't think WheeLeakInfo actually buys information. I think they use leaked databases. But companies that are like similar to WheeLeakInfo, they buy that to, you know, have a bigger database basically of people that have their database leaked, their like information leaked, which, you know, is a security risk and all. And a lot of script kiddies don't actually know how to access that information. Firstly, they don't know how to actually like use MyS. They don't know how to fucking use their servers. Like, they need to use a tutorial list. Obviously, using a tutorial isn't the worst thing. I use a tutorial when I do occasionally build Mirage or Qbots, because, you know, you can just copy and paste the code, not the code, but the command line commands, and then paste them into the terminal. But they don't know what they're doing in the terminal. Like, they don't know how to navigate through Linux systems, etc. Which is also notice of a script kiddie when they, you know, build botnets and such, but they don't know how to use Unix systems. It's very embarrassing for them, I feel like. But obviously, they want to do what they want to do, like. But yeah, man, I don't recommend, you know, making profit off these things. If you want to make profit off it by, you know, someone pays to do or something, that's a different thing. To you giving, like, obviously making a stressor or booter and stuff like that off a botnet is one thing, but selling spots on a botnet, I feel like is kind of like, it's kind of iffy. Obviously, this conversation requires so much more like in-depth fucking conversations, to be honest. But, you know, that's just the downside. That's just like the stuff for it. But yeah, I want to end this off here. Been 30 minutes, not the longest podcast, I guess you could say. But, you know, I'm going to be posting more. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good shit, and peace out, guys. Also, I've got my Raspberry Pi there. I'm gonna use it in further podcasts. I just didn't have any use for it. I thought I'd, you know, maybe need my Pi to do some stuff, but I didn't need it at all this video. But yeah, peace out, guys.